Leeds United are very, very clearly interested in signing Manor Solomon. He was a key part of the squad last season. I think he had something like 22 goal involvements or something nuts like that. And it's a move that I think a lot of fans do want us to make. However, there was a little bit of a roadblock until recently, but the situation does seem to be evolving. So, in this video, I'm going to cover why Leeds have a major advantage in the hunt for Manor Solomon now. But before I do so, please like the video, subscribe, comment down below what you're thinking, all that kind. That was a fun hiccup. What you're thinking down below, and also get tickets for the Leeds Creator Cup. It's the top link in the description, and it'd be massively appreciated if you could get a ticket for it. What is the biggest charity event in Leeds YouTube history, I'm gonna say. Sod it, it'll do. That's a fun tagline in it. All the YouTubers you can think of have been invited. Many of them are there. It's going to be fantastic. Really looking forward to it. John Shell Centre for Sport, 20th of July. Be there. Anyway, first off, we need to start by talking about the situation at Spurs. So we all know that Daniel Levy is that sort of stereotyped, fairly tight-fisted kind of guy who will not spend big amounts of money to improve the Spurs squad. At a time when he had Son and Kane, even then he was sort of like, well, we don't need to improve it too much. And that led to the sort of Spursiness that they are dealing with at the minute, which is not a good spot to be in. So a lot of chat at the moment is surrounding the fact that they are effectively sell to buy kind of situation. They are in a position where they are struggling to get things done because they're not in financially the best of places. PSR terms, fantastic, brilliant. But in terms of pure cash, they're relatively struggling because last summer they bought Odegaard from Burnley for 30 million euros, Archie from Leeds, 40 million pounds, Dominic Solanke was a hell of a lot of money as well, which means that cash-wise they're relatively poor. They need to sell players, which means that Manor Solomon is very probably on the way out because, let's be honest, he doesn't necessarily have a future at Spurs. Sent out on loan to the Championship, you look at their squad, you think there's a hell of a lot of wingers there, including Odegaard, as I just mentioned. He's a good asset for them to sell, which means that, in theory, as a club that have an interest in buying him, we're not in a bad spot ourselves. But recently there was a little bit of a Marseille chase that was reported by various people. Marseille had a little bit of an interest, which I thought was fairly interesting to keep a little bit of an eye on, because big side, Champions League involvement next season is going to make it very, very difficult to sign someone that they want. However, we've had an update from Sasha Tavolieri, who is a journalist that has a lot of sort of know-how in a lot of markets across Europe, specifically France. Very, very good at French as well, which I found was very interesting. And he tweeted out a couple of days ago, Contact, l'homme a tenu à démentir un intérêt pour Manor Solomon, which, if you translate that into English and don't pronounce your French like an absolute wanker, comes across as contacted. Olympique Marseille was keen to deny any interest in Manor Solomon, which is a very, very, very big boost for us. Two clubs were reported to have an interest. Leeds United, who had a link with Manor Solomon already because he played for us last season, quite liked it at the club, which is another little benefit, and ultimately that puts us in a very strong position in the first place, with the other side being Marseille. If Marseille have dropped out, that leaves us. And for me, that opens the door incredibly wide for us. Now, there might be some more interest in the coming weeks, in the coming months. The transfer market opens in about 2 weeks. It's on the 1st of June. So, in theory, things can happen before that, but the probability of that feels relatively low because you don't announce things before they happen officially, typically, in the world of football. But we're the only side with an interest. Even his current owners don't have that much of an interest, and he has a potential key role at Elland Road next season. We saw what he did towards the end of the season with us, and that was after having a decent run of matches, decent level of play, was able to get his fitness going and just get the ball rolling, a little bit of momentum behind him, looked fantastic. And the best bit is, there hasn't been any change on his estimated valuation, which was 20 million euros, translates approximately at 17 million pounds. That was when Marseille had an interest, which could mean that we're looking at a lower number right now, but being Spurs, I don't see that necessarily being the case. But we will obviously deal in pounds. I think this is a deal that just makes sense at this point. If Marseille have dropped out, things become significantly simpler for us. We can just walk in there and say, you don't want this guy, we do want this guy, you want to sign other players, we have money that you need, let's get something done. So the fact that there is no reported change on that valuation says that it might even come down a touch because there's only one club with an interest. He's an affordable player that is very, very clearly of a high standard and is, in my opinion, just what we need. A player that's familiar with Leeds United, that has played under Daniel Farke already, has proven that he can fit into the squad. Because one of the biggest issues when you sign a new player is, yeah, but how will they play with X, Y, or Z player? And sure, he's likely to have a different partner down the left-hand side if we lose Junior Firpo to the likes of Betis. But having him at all is going to be a really, really big benefit for us. And I feel very, very good about us getting this deal done. If the reported transfer budget of £100 million is true, we'll very clearly need a winger to fill that role. We'll need a fourth winger because otherwise we've got Nonto, we've got Ramazani, we've got James, which isn't enough for an entire season. And for me, Solomon has proven enough to take that role. And it would be a little bit of a weird shout if, with the biggest roadblock walking out of the way, if Leeds were to just go, actually, no, that's fine. You can just have him. That's okay. Be a bit of a silly one for me. However, as always, that is just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That'd be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're not yet. That's also absolutely wonderful. Or become a channel member. It's $2.99 a month. You get videos like this one early. It's being recorded a little bit past midnight. Going to publish it immediately for members, and it's going to go up in the morning. So yeah, it should be quite nice. Further details on the Creator Cup, by the way, stuff that I was going to mention previously. We're still looking for a sponsor for one or two things. So if you own a business and you're looking for what I think is one of the most visible sponsorship packages that we're doing, please get in touch. leadscreatorcup@outlook.com is the email address to reach out to, which would be massively appreciated. We're also going to be reaching out to various different people, but if you have any connections with like any media organizations or anything and you might want to talk about it, just reach out. That'd be absolutely spectacular too. Things are getting going now. It's in 2 months' time. I'm very excited, but also very, very scared. Anyway, that's been a little bit of waffle. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, subscribe, comment, all the fun stuff. And I will see you later. Imagine if between me recording this video and me publishing this video, Manor Solomon is like, actually, you know what, I'll do a public statement and I'll go to Leeds. Imagine if I've just predicted that. Imagine if I've predicted that and then everyone's like, oh my god, he is the Messiah. And then I just become like transfer Jesus. What a world. See you later.